begging her for mercy like a dog, but she has no clue. That country village she despised, it is a literal paradise, and when my chill countryside life went absolutely viral online, she finally panicked. She literally drove her multi-million-dollar Cullinan straight to the village entrance, begging me to come back. Flashback to when she screamed, "Chenon, take your useless daughter and roll back to your trashy village." Ruoyun's voice was ice cold, just like the expensive Italian marble floor she was standing on. She pointed straight to the center of the living room at an ink-stained landscape painting, an authentic masterpiece she bought at an auction for $8 million. My 5-year-old daughter, Dudu, was the only unexpected thing in this marriage. Right now, she was hiding behind me, her tiny hands gripping my shirt, shaking all over and crying silently. I did not even look at that painting. I just knelt down, pulled Dudu into a tight hug and patted her back. "Don't worry, baby, Daddy is here." Her warm tears soaked right through my shirt. I looked up at Ruoyun. She was wearing a sharp custom Chanel suit, looking flawless like some queen ready for war. We had been married for 6 years and she was always like this, looking down on me from her high horse. Obsessed with efficiency and perfection, she never allowed a single mistake. And honestly, Dudu and I were the biggest mistakes in her so-called perfect life. "Just a bottle of ink. Is it really that serious?" I asked, keeping my voice dead calm. She just laughed, her eyes full of pure disgust. "A bottle of ink? Chenon, you will never understand the value of this masterpiece, just like you will never understand the value of time or efficiency. You only deserve to rot in your useless, lazy countryside. To you, everything has a price, right?" "Everything has a price tag," I asked. Obviously, she replied like it was a fact. I just nodded. I did not even bother arguing. Trying to explain what is truly priceless to someone who literally lives inside an Excel spreadsheet is just plain stupid. I picked up my crying daughter. Her tears were still dripping onto my shoulder. "Fine," I said, "let us go." I did not pack a single thing. Massive luxury penthouse we called home. Nothing actually belonged to me, except for Dudu. Ruoyun seemed shocked that I gave up so easily. She froze, then pulled a black card from her wallet and threw it on the hallway table. "There is $1 million on this card. Get lost and never show your faces again." She tossed it like she was throwing spare change to a beggar. I held Dudu tight and walked right past that card without even looking. I opened the door and walked out, closing it quietly behind me. No drama, no slamming doors. I was just completely closing the door on our relationship forever. Inside the elevator, Dudu looked up at me, her face covered in tears, and asked, "Daddy, where are we going? Does Mommy not want us anymore?" I leaned down and rubbed my forehead against hers. "Mommy is just playing a game of pretend anger. We are going to an amazing place with rivers, wild flowers, and chickens that lay eggs. Do you want to go?" Her eyes finally lit up with a bit of hope. "Really? Is it better than an amusement park?" "Of course it is," I smiled. "Better than every amusement park in the world combined." The elevator doors opened, and I carried her into the hot garage. That massive, golden skyscraper behind us felt like a giant prison, and we were finally free. My hometown was a quiet little village in the south, 300 kilometers away from that crazy city. It was a whole different world. I started up my 8-year-old Volkswagen and drove for 4 hours, leaving the concrete jungle for a real forest. I parked under the old tree at the entrance of the village, opened the door, and felt a rush of fresh air smelling like rain, dirt, and green grass. It completely washed away 6 years of city stress. Dudu leaned out the window, looking around in absolute awe. "Daddy, what is that?" She pointed at a big white goose, walking on the dirt path. "That, my dear, is the village guardian. What about that over there?" She pointed to the smoke rising from a cozy farmhouse. "That is a magic house where they cook delicious food." My old family home was a 2-story wooden cottage with a small yard. Nobody had lived there for years. The yard was covered in overgrown weeds and spiderwebs hung from the roof, but the house itself was still solid. I sat Dudu down on a big smooth stone in the yard, told her to stay put, and started clearing the weeds, sweeping the floors, and cleaning the windows. Ruoyun always called me lazy. She thought I was a useless loser who only knew how to watch a kid. She was right. In her corporate world, I was trash. I did not know how to read financial charts or manipulate capital, and I could not even tell her designer bag logos apart. But bro, I can weave bamboo, build custom furniture, and know exactly which wild mushrooms are safe to eat and which plants are natural medicine. All these skills she called worthless. Out here, they are absolute cheat codes. After working all afternoon, the place finally felt like a real home. I pulled a bucket of ice-cold water from the old backyard well and washed the dirt off Dudu's face and hands. The little girl was running around chasing grasshoppers, sweating and laughing, her cheeks bright red. Her giggles echoed through the yard, a sound I had not heard in years inside that massive, lifeless penthouse. For dinner, we kept it simple. I fired up the old brick stove in the yard, cooked some rice over a wood fire, and grabbed some fresh cucumbers from neighbor Aunt Zhang's garden. along with fresh tomatoes and eggs. Smashed cucumber tomato scrambled eggs. No fancy Wagyu beef. No expensive caviar. Not even expensive cooking oil. But when the smell of wood fire and fresh rice hit the air, Dudu's eyes lit up like stars. "Daddy, it smells so good." She held a ceramic bowl bigger than her face, clumsily shoveling rice into her mouth, getting it all over her face. "Slow down, baby. No one is going to steal it," I laughed, wiping a grain of rice from her chin. She looked up and mumbled, "Daddy, this place is so much better than home. Even the food tastes a million times better." Bro, my heart literally ached. Back in that cold mansion, eating was a whole military drill. No clinking forks on plates, absolutely no talking, and not a single grain of rice could hit the floor. Talk about suffocating. Mealtime wasn't about enjoying food, it was just another chore. I gently patted his head and told him, "If you like it here, we are going to eat here every single day from now on." "No way, really?" His eyes instantly lit up, but then he asked, "What about Mommy? When is she coming to eat with us?" That innocent question felt like a straight-up needle stabbing my heart. I froze for a second, then lied that Mommy was just too busy with work. But I told him she would come once she finished her work. Honestly, I had no idea if Ruoyun would ever show up. But one thing was for sure, the moment I chose to leave that toxic life, I had zero plans of ever going back. Life in Qingxi village was like the little river at the entrance, just flowing slow and peaceful. The very next morning, I woke up to birds chirping outside my window. No cold, annoying phone alarm this time. Dudu was still fast asleep with the sweetest little smile on her face. I tiptoed out of bed so I wouldn't wake her up. Time to clean up the yard. I cleared out all the crazy overgrown weeds, revealing the old stone path underneath. Then I dug up a patch of dirt right by the wall. I planned to grow some fresh veggies and pomegranates there. I even went to the mountain, chopped some bamboo, and spent half the day building Dudu a custom swing. I hung it right under the sweet osmanthus tree. When Dudu woke up and saw that swing, she was literally jumping for joy. She kept begging me to push her, yelling, "Higher, Daddy, higher." Her laughter was so pure, ringing out of the yard like little silver bells. It attracted the neighbor kids, and just like that, our little yard became the ultimate hangout spot for all the village children. They all crowded around Dudu, watching her draw and listening to her cool stories about the big city. Honestly, Dudu fit right in with them instantly. She even learned how to catch mudfish and find bird nests. Her face got a little sun-kissed and her hands got tiny calluses, but her smile was brighter than ever. Meanwhile, I became the ultimate God mode dad to all the kids. I was making bamboo copters one day and wooden slingshots the next. Even the wild berries from the mountain and tiny fish from the stream became ingredients for my cooking. Just a simple bowl of scallion oil noodles or sweet mung bean soup was enough. It literally had the kids cheering like crazy. One afternoon, I was in the kitchen, whipping up some fresh pumpkin pancakes using pumpkins I just picked from our garden. But suddenly, a young girl with a camera around her neck peeked into the yard. She asked if she was in the wrong place, saying she just followed the delicious smell. She looked super shy, pointing at the pumpkin pancakes in my hand. Her name was Lin Shi, and she was actually a travel blogger. She came to the village to get some footage but got completely lost. I just smiled and handed her a piping hot pumpkin pancake to try out. Took one bite, and bro, her eyes literally lit up. She went, "Oh my god, this is insane. It is so soft, sweet, and chewy." She said there was even a hint of sweet osmanthus in it. She told me it was a total waste of talent for me not to open a restaurant. I just laughed it off. Honestly, in Ruoyun's high society world, opening a small food shop was probably considered the lowest, most trash-tier business model. But Lin Shi was super friendly. She vibe-checked immediately with Dudu and the other kids. She started filming everything with her camera, like me cooking, Dudu laughing on the swing with her friends, our chubby orange cat rolling around on the wall, and the whole peaceful aesthetic. She stayed until evening, barely wanting to leave. Right before leaving, she asked me if she could post the video online. She said the vibe was too beautiful and she wanted to share it with the world. Waved my hand like, "Do whatever you want." I did not care at all. To me, the internet was just as distant as the elite world Ruoyun belonged to. Felt like a lifetime away. But little did I know, this tiny, careless decision of mine was about to act like a stone thrown into water, shattering my peaceful life and causing massive shockwaves between me and Ruoyun. Bro, Lin Shi's video absolutely blew up. It went insanely viral. She titled it Lost in Paradise, featuring a god-tier dad and his little elf. The video captured the dreamy, poetic aesthetic of the village, the calm vibes of our old house, and my home-cooked meals. For stressed-out city folks, this was the ultimate luxury. And Dudu, sun-kissed face and pure carefree smile literally touched the souls of millions of tired corporate workers. Overnight, the video hit over 1 million likes. The comments went wild, like, "OMG, is this place even real? I want to quit my job and move in with this dad. This is actually living while we are just surviving." Another comment said, "The dad is fake, the kid is fake, the lifestyle is fake, only my 9 to 5 shift is real." Everyone was begging for the address to meet this legendary dad. I had zero clue about any of this until a few days later when Uncle Zhang, the village chief, came running to my place. It was like, "Chenan, you mad lad. You kept quiet but ended up making massive news for our whole village." He shoved his phone right in front of my face. That was when I finally saw the viral video and the tens of thousands of comments. I was so confused. Bro, I was literally just living my life. How did I suddenly become some god-tier dad? But then the real trouble started. Tourists who watched the video started flooding into our peaceful village. They were walking around with their phones, trying to find where this legendary dad lived. My quiet yard was completely ruined. People kept peeking over the walls, and some even had the audacity to push my gate open and walk right in. They literally demanded that I cook for them. One flashy, expensive-looking guy just walked in and said, "Hey, you're that famous dad, right? Make us those pumpkin pancakes from the video. Name your price." He said it so casually, like I owed him. I frowned instantly. Look, I love sharing, but I am not some tourist attraction or a personal chef. I slammed the gate shut right in his face and hung it outside. Private property, no entry. But that did absolutely nothing to stop the hype. It only made people even more curious. Meanwhile, 300 kilometers away, inside a penthouse office of a massive skyscraper, Ruoyun also stumbled upon the video. Her secretary brought it up as some fun gossip during a meeting, saying, "President Su, there is this viral influencer called the God-tier dad blowing up the internet. Peaceful cottagecore lifestyle is getting insane engagement. Our PR team thinks we should reach out to him for a potential brand deal." Secretary passed the tablet over to Royan. But the moment Royan looked at the screen, seeing the man dressed in cheap, simple clothes cooking by the stove, and her own daughter laughing like a wild, happy kid on the swing, she completely froze. It was Chen An, and it was Doo. Bro, remember that guy he threw away like literal trash? The one he thought would end up broke and begging to come back? Well, turns out, in the middle of the countryside he despised so much pain, he was living like an absolute god. In the video, his face looked so peaceful and focused under the warm glow of the hearth. Making food and crafting toys for Doo, he had this incredible calm and patience he had never shown before. And Doo, man, how long had it been since he saw his daughter laugh like that? And under his strict rules, Dudu went to the most expensive international kindergarten, learning equestrian, piano, French. She was always obedient, but she was basically a pre-programmed little robot. But in this video, Dudu was like a wild flower breaking free from a tiny pot, growing freely in the fields, absolutely bursting with life. Suddenly, a wave of irritation and panic clouded Suruyun's mind. For the first time ever, he realized the world he had under his thumb was cracking. The ex-husband and daughter he had thrown away were living in a world he knew nothing about, and they were way happier than they ever were with him. Talk about a massive blow. This hurt him way more than any business failure ever could. Shut the video off and coldly told his secretary, "I got it." After the secretary left, stood alone in his massive, empty office for a long time. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the city lights glowed, showing off his massive business empire. But right now, all those brilliant lights just made him feel empty and restless. He grabbed his phone and dialed a number he thought he'd never call again. Phone rang and rang, but nobody picked up. Meanwhile, I was busy digging up bamboo shoots for Doo on the hill, and my phone was sitting in the yard where I couldn't hear it. Royan wasn't giving up that easily. He fired off a text using his usual bossy tone. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Meet me at the Genting restaurant downtown. We need to talk. He waited and waited, but got absolutely zero reply. Had literally never happened before. Back then, Chen An would reply in a split second. Now, a terrifying feeling of losing control wrapped around his heart like a vine, squeezing tighter and tighter. As for me, I didn't even see Royun's message until the next morning. At the time, I was in the yard teaching Doo how to grind soy milk with a stone mill. Doo was pushing the little millstone around and around, and fresh white soy milk was slowly dripping out. Smelled amazing. I glanced at my phone, casually locked the screen, and kept adding soaked soybeans to the mill. I had only been to that Genting restaurant once before. It was our first wedding anniversary, but he spent the whole time on his phone talking business. We finished the entire meal in less than 20 minutes. Top it off, his assistant had to come and pay the bill. After that, I never mentioned anniversaries again. And he thinks he can just summon me like a dog, throw a check or a contract at me to settle our entire past. No way I was going. I scooped up a ladle of the fresh soy milk, boiled it on the stove with a little sugar, and handed a bowl to Doo. "Is it good?" "Yes, it's so good." "So sweet." Doo drank it until she got a cute little white milk mustache. Seeing her so happy and satisfied, man, this is what real life is all about. 10 a.m. came, and I was nowhere near the Genting restaurant. Instead, I grabbed Doo, hoisted a hoe onto my shoulder, and headed over to the abandoned vegetable patch at the west end of the village. Meanwhile, Ruoyun sat in his private VIP booth, waiting from 10 to 11. The food on the table was already ice cold. Pepped, checking his watch, his face getting darker by the second. This was literally the first time in his entire life he had waited for someone for more than 10 minutes. And of all people, he was waiting for me, the guy he used to treat like total dirt. He finally lost his mind and dialed my number again. This time I picked up. "Where are you?" He was practically spitting fire. I put the phone on speaker, set it on a rock nearby, and replied while digging the soil. "I am out in the field." "What?" Thought he was hearing things. "Digging the soil and planting vegetables," I replied, short and sweet. There was a long, dead silence on the other end of the line. I could literally picture his furrowed brows in utter disbelief. After a long pause, he finally spoke, his voice ice cold. "Chenon, are you doing this on purpose?" "No, I am just really busy. I don't have time for your restaurant." "Busy? You're too busy digging dirt?" Voice was dripping with pure disbelief and sarcasm. "Yeah," I replied instantly. "Dudu wants to eat homegrown tomatoes, so I need to prep the soil before the season ends." "Is that seriously more important than meeting me?" "Yes." Those two words hit Ruoyun like a massive slap to the face. I could hear his heavy breathing. Bro was absolutely losing his mind. "Chenon, don't you dare regret this," he spat out, his voice shaking with rage. Boom, he hung up. I stared at the dark screen and shook my head. Regret? Oh, I definitely have regrets. My biggest regret was falling for his cold, untouchable vibe 6 years ago, diving headfirst into that toxic, one-sided marriage. I thought love could melt an iceberg, but I almost froze to death instead. I slid my phone back into my pocket and kept working. Fresh, damp soil turned over, releasing a fresh, earthy scent. Right next to me, Dudu was copying my moves, digging away with her little plastic shovel. The warm sun shone down on us, and it felt amazing. Later that afternoon, Lin Shi showed up again. She brought better camera gear, but she also brought some seriously bad news. "Brother Chen, we have a huge problem." She looked incredibly worried. "Someone leaked your info. They're saying you're the ex-husband of Ruoyun, the CEO of Shenghua Group. They're claiming you were kicked out because you're a useless gold digger." I froze. Shenghua Group, that was Ruoyun's company. Guess he's even more powerful than I thought. Bows my entire past so fast. They're also saying, Lin Shi hesitated, looking at me. "They're saying you're just putting on a show, faking this perfect dad persona for clout, so you can demand a massive alimony payout once you go viral. The internet has completely flipped on you. The people who were just praising you are now dragging you." I knew it. There's no way this wholesome dad stuff is real. It's all scripted. Turns out he's just a gold digger dumped by a rich girl. Absolutely disgusting. I feel so bad for his daughter. She's literally being used as clickbait. Lin Shi looked at me with deep concern. "Brother Chen, are you going to respond? If this keeps up, it's going to ruin everything for you and Dudu." I look at Dudu chasing butterflies like nothing is wrong, still laughing his heart out. I just shake my head. Let them talk trash. Mouths are on other people anyway. They can say whatever they want. We are just living our best life. My total chill vibe catches Lin Shi off guard, and he just stares at me. His eyes are filled with pure respect. He goes, "Brother Chen, your mindset is insane." I just give a soft smile. "It is not a good mindset, bro. My heart is just dead." When you completely give up on someone in their toxic world, their trash talk literally cannot hurt you anymore. But even if I do not care, does not mean Ruoyun is chilling. The internet is blowing up and she sees it all. Her PR director rushes in with a dead serious face to report. "President Su, the rumors about you and Mr. Chen are trending everywhere. 5. It is wrecking your image and tanking our stock price. We need to drop a statement immediately. We must expose his clout-chasing behavior, distance yourself from him, and threaten to sue him." PR director hands over the draft. It is absolutely savage and arrogant, classic Ruoyun style. Posts this. It is over for me. I will be branded as a gold-digging trash husband forever, with zero chance to bounce back. Ruoyun stares at the paper, but she is totally frozen. My words from our phone call are literally on loop in her head. Dudu wants to eat the tomatoes she grew herself. Yes, that is more important than meeting you. Her knuckles turn white as she squeezes the paper. Plot twist. She suddenly realizes something makes zero sense. If Chenon was just clout chasing for money, why did he ghost her calls? Why did he stand her up and not even care about all the hate online? It is completely illogical, unless he really does not care about the money, does not care about fame, and he does not care about her. This realization hits her like an ice dagger, straight to the heart. A wave of unfamiliar panic sets in. She finally mutters, her voice sounding completely raspy. "Hold the statement for now." PR director is completely lost. "President Su?" I said, "Hold it." Her cold voice leaves absolutely zero room for argument. Then she makes a crazy decision even she cannot believe. She is going to the countryside herself. She wants to see what games he is playing. She wants to shatter his perfect dad persona and make him kneel, exposing his desperate schemes. She wants him to realize he is nothing without her. The next afternoon, a luxury black Cullinan rolls up. Looking completely out of place in this tiny village, it parks under the old tree, and the door swings open. Out steps Ruoyun. She is rocking a high-end white suit and 10-centimeter heels, looking absolutely flawless, like some luxury museum piece. But standing in the dirt and trees, she looks totally ridiculous. Her heels sink straight into the muddy path. She is stumbling and almost breaks her ankles multiple times. Her inner clean freak is screaming, but she pushes through. She uses her phone to find my yard. The gate is open, and she can hear Doo laughing inside, along with another girl's voice. "Doo, you are so good at this. This kite looks amazing. It is Lin Shi." Ruoyun's face immediately sours, and she slams the gate open. I am just sitting there, carving a bamboo frame for the kite. Doo and Lin Shi are sitting on stools, having the time of their lives. They are painting the kite. Doo draws a sun, and Lin Shi draws a cloud. They are sitting head to head, looking so cozy. Seeing them so close absolutely destroys Ruoyun. That was supposed to be her spot, but her sudden entrance instantly kills the happy vibe. Doo freezes. She literally hides behind Lin Shi and whispers, "Mom, it is so awkward," and terrified. Lin Shi jumps up, looking at me and then at Ruoyun. She instantly reads the room. I look at Ruoyun, not even surprised. I set my tools down, dust off my hands, and ask coldly, "What do you want?" No reply. Her eyes just scan my rundown yard like an x-ray. Weeds everywhere, cracked walls, and our faded old clothes drying on the line. Is exactly as trashy as she expected. But then she spots a brand new swing and a perfectly clean garden. Doo is laughing brighter than the sun. There is no misery here. It is actually peaceful, filled with a warmth she has never known. "So this is the life you chose?" She finally speaks, sounding weirdly conflicted. "Bringing my daughter to this dump to suffer?" I cut her off. "We are not suffering. Doing great." "Great?" She laughs like it is a joke. "In this trash house? Wearing these rags? No nutritionist? No luxury food? You call this great?" She points at Doo's muddy little shoes. "Look at her. She looks like a beggar. Is this how you play, Dad?" Her voice is so sharp and toxic, Doo is terrified. Doo's eyes well up, about to cry. I step in, pull Doo into a hug, and turn my back to Ruoyun. "Ruoyun," I say cold as ice, "you are not welcome here. Get out." First time using her full name. First time kicking her out. She is completely stunned. She expected me to beg, to be mad, to try and get her back. But my cold, dead eyes, she never saw that coming. I am looking at her like a total stranger, Chenin. "You." She is shaking with rage. Lin Shi steps up. "President Su, you have got it all wrong. Brother Chen is an amazing dad. Doo is happier here than she has ever been." Ruoyun finally glares at Ling Shi, her eyes sharp as knives. "Who are you? Do you even have a right to speak here?" Ling Shi takes a step back, totally freaked out by her massive aura, but she stands her ground anyway. "I am Brother Chen and Doo's friend." "Friend?" Ruoyun sneers, scanning between the two of us. "Highly doubt you are just friends." Chen on, wow, you really leveled up. Finding a rebound this fast? Talk about pure disrespect. Face completely darkens. Ruoyun, watch your mouth. "Oh, did I hit a nerve? Getting mad now?" She keeps pressing. But I am not wasting any more breath on this trash. I hold Doo tight and tell Ling Shi, please help me show her out." Then, I carry Doo straight into the house and slam the door shut, locking Ruoyun and her entire toxic world outside. Shut out like garbage. Ruoyun's face turns completely pale with rage. This is literally the biggest humiliation of her life. A billionaire CEO? Locked out by her supposedly useless ex-husband. She wants to smash the door and lose her mind, but she just stands there in the yard, staring at that closed wooden door, completely frozen. Ling Shi stands there awkward as hell. "President Su, maybe you should leave first? Brother Chen is just like this." Ruoyun ignores her, her eyes glued to that door. No way, she does not believe it. She refuses to believe Chen actually dares to treat her like this. She thinks he is just playing hard to get to raise his price. Has to be that. Ruoyun takes a deep breath to force herself to calm down. She pulls out her checkbook and a pen. Scribbling down a bunch of zeros, she rips it off and hands it to Ling Shi. "Give this to him. Tell him if he brings Doo back with me and clears my name online, this check is his." Ling Shi looks down at the check. $10 million, she gasps. She worked her butt off as a travel blogger for years and did not even make a fraction of this. Yet Ruoyun just throws it around like pocket change. The power of the rich. "Tell him this is the absolute limit of my patience." Ruoyun turns around, her high heels clicking as she walks away. She leaves this suffocating yard without even looking back. She is absolutely sure nobody can resist $10 million. Chenan is no exception. She gets back to her car, but instead of leaving, she parks in a corner with a perfect view of the gate. She is waiting for Chenan to run out, holding the check and begging for her mercy. But 10 minutes pass, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. The door stays completely shut. Just as she's about to lose her mind, the door opens. Lingxi walks out and knocks on her Cullinan window. Ruoyun rolls down the window with a victorious smirk. Did he finally wake up? Lingxi just shakes her head. She hands back the check, but plot twist, it is torn cleanly in half. Ruoyun's smug smile instantly freezes. What is the meaning of this? Brother Chen said, Lingxi repeats my words word for word. The tomatoes he grows are for Dudu to eat, not for sale. He also said, do not ever bother their lives again. Lingxi drops the Ruoyun check on the windowsill and walks away. Ruoyun stares blankly at the 2 pieces of trash, her mind completely blank. He rejected it. He actually rejected $10 million. For a few unripe tomatoes? How is this even possible? Who on earth turns down that kind of cash? Her entire worldview is shattered. She realizes her precious wealth, status, and power mean absolutely nothing to this man. For the first time, she feels pure terror. Not because she lost, but because she cannot read him at all. Chenan is on a whole different level now. She slams on the gas. Cullinan roars as she speeds away from this frustrating village. Ruoyun is gone. My life finally goes back to normal, but I know this is far from over. Sure enough, a few days later, the village chief shows up again. Time, he is not alone. Behind him are men in expensive suits. And the leader? I know him. It is Ruoyun's chief lawyer, Mr. Li. Li adjusts his gold-rimmed glasses, acting all professional. Mr. Chen, I represent Miss Ruoyun. We are here to officially discuss the custody of young Miss Dudu. My heart sinks. Yep, the storm is here. Sue believes your current living conditions and financial status are bad for Dudu's growth. She wants Dudu back, to give her the best education and care. Of course, as compensation, Miss Sue is willing to pay you a massive lump sum. He hands over a document, but I do not even touch it. I ask, $50 million, Mr. Li says. Plus, Miss Sue will clear all the bad rumors about you and restore your name. 50 million, from 1 million to 10 million, and now 50 million. Through Ruoyun's eyes, everything has a price tag, even a father's love. What if I say no? Her Li's face does not even flinch. Then we will see you in court, Mr. Chen. Frankly, with your background, your chances against Miss Sue are 0. Not lying. I have no stable job, no huge income, and no real property. Meanwhile, Ruoyun has a literal army of top-tier lawyers and infinite wealth. Any judge would hand the kid to her. Village chief is sweating, rubbing his hands. Chenan, think this through. I look at the lawyer's soulless face and suddenly laugh. Go back and tell Ruoyun, if she wants Dudu, she can come talk to me face to face. I have 0 interest in dealing with her dogs. The lawyer's face twitches, but he tries to keep his cool. Mr. Chen, watch your language. Get lost, I say. Just one word, and it is over. Lawyer Li's whole squad ran away with their tails between their legs. The village chief looked at me and sighed. Chenan, why did this to yourself, bro? You can't fight the elite, man. But I didn't explain. I knew exactly how Ruoyun played the game. She was used to throwing money and power at every problem. This time, she was dead wrong. Dudu isn't some corporate project or a cash asset she can just buy. She is my entire life. Try to take my life, I'm throwing hands. Period. That exact night, my phone rang. It was her, Ruoyun. Her voice sounded completely drained but dripping with rage. Chenan, what is your deal? Is 50 million not enough for you? You seriously want to drag this to court? You want everyone laughing at us? I just sighed. I don't want drama. I just want to live a peaceful, quiet life with Dudu. So she can suffer with you? Ruoyun, you still don't get it, do you? I cut her off. Dudu doesn't give a damn about your perfect life. She doesn't care about elite international preschools, piano lessons, or horseback riding. She just wants a dad who will play games and read her bedtime stories. And you could never give her that. All your time goes to spreadsheets and board meetings. You don't love Dudu. What you actually love is just the aesthetic of having a perfect daughter. She's just another trophy on your flawless resume and nothing else. My words sliced right through her defense like a blade, exposed the ugly truth she kept trying to hide. The phone went completely silent, like dead quiet. After what felt forever, I heard it. Shaky, sobbing voice. No, I do love her, she whispered. She sounded so broken, so unlike her usual cold self. It actually shook me for a second. That was the first time I ever heard Ruoyun cry. Nope, I stayed cold as ice. Oh yeah, I said, then prove it. Just like that, I hung up. I leaned against the tree in my yard, looking up at the moon, knowing this war was only just getting started. But I was ready. I expected her to unleash a massive lawsuit immediately, but plot twist, she went completely dark. All the smear campaigns against me online suddenly vanished. It was like she just evaporated from my life. But I knew better, this was just the calm before the storm. I didn't let my guard down for a second. While chilling with Dudu in the countryside, I prepped for the court battle and started making handcrafted bamboo and wood crafts. I had the locals sell them in town. The pay was tiny, but hey, it was honest work. Plus, Lin Shi started visiting all the time. She wasn't even filming content. She just hung out like a real friend, playing with Dudu and helping me farm. Then she used her marketing brain to set up an online shop for my crafts. And bro, the store actually took off. Those forgotten traditional crafts? They became high-end art pieces online. My life was finally getting back on track. Meanwhile, Ruoyun was suffering through absolute hell. For that phone call, she sat alone in her dark office, crying her eyes out all night. My words kept looping in her head like a curse. You don't love Dudu. You just love the aesthetic of a perfect daughter. She tried to deny it, but she literally couldn't. She pulled up the home security feeds to watch how Dudu and I lived after she left. She saw me teaching Dudu how to read, telling her stories, and catching dragonflies in the fields. Dudu's laughter was in every single clip. Then she checked the footage from before we left. In that massive mansion, it was always just Dudu and the nanny. Dudu playing alone, watching TV alone, eating in absolute silence at a giant table, while she herself just rushed in and out of the house. The only time she actually spent with Dudu was forcing her to practice piano. She'd scream at Dudu over one wrong note. The contrast between my clips and hers hit her like a sledgehammer. For the first time in her life, she self-reflected. Was she actually a good mom? Did she even love her kid? The realization made it hard for her to breathe. She canceled every single meeting and locked herself in. She walked into Dudu's room for the very first time. It was huge and gorgeous, basically a princess's castle, filled with luxury toys and designer dolls. But Dudu's favorite toy was actually tucked away in the corner. An old wooden rabbit. I hand-carved it for her 3rd birthday. Ruoyun picked it up. The wood was polished incredibly smooth, showing just how much love went into it. Right then, she finally broke down and cried. She made a decision that shocked absolutely everyone. She took a massive leave of absence from her own company, something she hadn't done since she founded the group. Then she hopped in her luxury SUV and drove straight back to Qingxi village. But this time, no power suit, no high heels. Pen was wearing a simple tracksuit and white sneakers. Instead of coming to confront me, she rented out an abandoned farmhouse in the village. Plot twist. It was right next door to my place. The news spread like wildfire, and within a single day, the whole village was buzzing. Paused. Everyone was staring at her like she was an alien. A billionaire CEO who drives a luxury SUV ditching 5-star hotel just to live in a rundown village shack? What was her game? Even I was stunned. I had no idea what she was planning. But she didn't come to me. Poor Dudu. She just clumsily started trying to live a normal, rustic life she knew nothing about. I saw her trying to get water from the well and almost falling in. I saw her trying to build a fire to cook, getting choked out by thick smoke with tears streaming down her face. Her face was covered in soot like a stray cat. She tried to farm with the locals but couldn't even lift the hoe. Every single thing she did was a total mess. The villagers laughed behind her back like, a spoiled rich girl trying to live like us? Bet she cries and runs back to the city in 3 days. Dudu noticed her too, peeking over the wall to watch this incredibly clumsy lady. Daddy, that auntie is so silly, Dudu giggled. I didn't say anything, just watched in silence. But honestly, seeing her look that pathetic, I felt a tiny bit of satisfaction. But mostly, I was just lost. What was she even trying to do? Knowing her high and mighty personality, there was no way this cheap show would last. But plot twist, I was dead wrong. She actually stuck with it. Day 1, she survived on instant noodles. Day 2, she swallowed her pride and begged our neighbor Auntie Zhang. She paid a crazy high price just to get a cooked meal. By day 3, she was literally learning how to use a traditional wood stove from Auntie Zhang. But her hands, those hands that used to sign multi-million-dollar contracts, were covered in painful blisters and cuts. Still, she did not quit. Talk about commitment. A week later, she actually cooked her very first meal. It looked kinda trash, but it was edible. She got way thinner and got a tan too. Her crazy high and mighty queen energy was totally gone, replaced by dirt and sweat. She even started talking to the locals instead of trying to flex her money to solve everything. She actually learned to say thank you and please. She would carry heavy water buckets for Auntie Zhang and buy candy to the village kids. The villagers went from laughing and ignoring her to slowly accepting her. Then one day, Dudu's kite string snapped. The kite got stuck high up in a massive tree outside our yard. Dudu was crying his eyes out, and I was just about to go grab a ladder. Ruoyun heard him and rushed over. She looked up at the crazy high branch, and without saying a word, she literally kicked off her shoes and started climbing. Her insanely expensive tracksuit got shredded by the rough bark. It was a struggle, and she almost fell like 3 times. Dudu and I were completely stunned. But against all odds, she reached the branch and grabbed the kite. When she finally climbed down, her arms and legs were covered in bloody scratches. She handed the kite to Dudu with this nervous, hopeful smile, saying, "Dudu, please don't cry anymore. I got it back for you." Dudu stared at her, then looked at all her bleeding cuts, and his little face crumpled, burst into tears, crying even harder. But this time it was not because he was upset about the kite. He was heartbroken for her. Threw himself into her arms, touching the scratches on her arm and sobbing, "Mommy, does it hurt?" Hearing that, Ruoyun completely froze. Holding his soft little body and hearing that long-lost loving voice call her mommy, her walls completely broke down. She held Dudu so tight Started crying like a little kid. Watching them, I had a storm of emotions inside. I knew right then Ruoyun had seriously changed. Or rather, she was trying her absolute best to pull herself down from her high pedestal back to reality. From that day on, Dudu started opening up to her. He run next door to show off his caught crickets and drawings like they were the coolest treasures ever, and she clumsily tried her best to match his hype. She would read him bedtime stories, even if they were super dry compared to mine, and she would play games with him, even though she always lost. And got completely covered in mud. The ice between was melting fast, but between her and me, there was still this awkward distance. We would see each other and talk, but we both silently agreed not to mention the past or the future. Until one night when a massive storm hit, the roof of her old rented house started leaking like crazy. Rain was dripping everywhere, soaking her blanket in no time. She was in a total panic, trying to catch the water with buckets. She looked absolutely miserable. In the end, I just could not stand by and watch. I grabbed an umbrella, knocked on her door, and told her, "Come stay at my place." "The guest room is dry," I said. She stared at me, totally stunned, before finally nodding and following me back. Dudu was already fast asleep. I found some clean clothes for her and told her to take a hot shower. By the time she came out, I had a warm bowl of ginger soup ready to ward off the cold. She held the steaming bowl, head down, taking tiny sips. The room was dead silent, except for the rain outside. "Chentan," she suddenly whispered. I froze. I was so wrong back then, she said. I always thought I was giving you and Dudu the absolute best, but it was never what you guys actually wanted. I thought money solved everything, and that pushing you away would make you realize how much you needed me. But I was so wrong. I was the biggest joke. Her tears dripped one by one into the soup. Watching her, the ice that had frozen my heart for 6 years finally started to crack. I did not say anything. I just slid the tissue box over. She sobbed for a while before finally calming down. "I won't force you guys to come back anymore," she said, looking up with red but incredibly determined eyes. "I won't threaten you with money or custody ever again. Is there any way you can give me one more chance?" She stared at me, with a look of vulnerability and begging I had never seen on her. A chance to learn how to be a wife and a mother again. The rain outside slowly stopped. A sliver of moonlight broke through the clouds, shining on her tear-stained face. I stared at her in silence for what felt like forever. But I did not give her an answer right away. I just stood up, walked to Dudu's door, and cracked it open a bit. Under the moonlight, the little guy was sleeping peacefully with a sweet smile. I turned back to Ruoyun and said, "The tomatoes in the yard need watering tomorrow." Froze. Totally confused by what I meant, I just smiled and added, "It's a bit too much work for just one person."